Good evening, every pony, and welcome to DAG. This is your host, Dratta Arcana, and tonight joining me is special guest
PirateDash.
Welcome to the show, PirateDash. As always, guys, this is Dratta Talks, and today we're going to be talking about how to start a blog as a brony. I've noticed that Tumblr is becoming less and less prevalent in the brony community.
There's reasons for that. It was on a downward decline, and even though there are some exceptions to that rule. It's been on a downward decline for a while, and there was one moment that accelerated it, but I don't know if we can talk about that on your podcast.
Well,
it was a staff decision. I'll put it that way. So
okay. Well, and I know that there's other blogging things that people could do, like there's blogspot and there's all these other mediums. What made it that... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, so I don't know a lot about blogging, but I know enough that there's some successful bloggers and then there's some not successful bloggers. And I know that it's, you have to have good writing skills to actually start a blog and stuff. But,
Tumblr-wise, that good writing is not necessarily what will help get you along. Cute art and quality art seems to be a bigger factor in the Tumblr universe. You have blogs where you can have complex stories and really good characters and such, but what tends to win out a little more is people that have eye-catching and eye-pleasing art, because with the Tumblr format, what's been most successful is just basically treating it like a comic or a webcomic series. The way Tumblr's set up, the way the formatting is, the way you post, it's more friendly to post a photo and post a picture and photo sets and such. So if you can make a good comic with eye-pleasing art and then supplement that with some great writing, then you can do pretty well.
Okay. So, going on that note, your blog specifically, PirateDash Mod, on Tumblr, you have this character, Rainbow Dash, obviously, as a pirate, which, happened way before the time of the movie. And it's kind of funny how, your cartoony style of, approaching that comic system was very eye-pleasing, and, it helps to, it's attractive, it's, flows well and everything. And you stuck with this, pirate theme and stuff. But I know that sometimes some people that want to be bloggers end up like with the wrong background or the wrong, approach, or they get out of character. And
well, what tends to happen most often, and it used to be where all these Ask blogs were just slice of life, where people would just send in questions and your character would answer them. I created PD at a time where people were just wanting to get an Ask blog, and the trend at the time was, here's a main six character and here's a quirk about them. That it was very common to do that. There were a lot of dashes too. There was a Rainbow Dash that was kind of goth. There's one that's still going, that's based off the Serious Sam video game series. There was another one that just drank cider the whole time. So it was basically main six plus a quirk, and that was your Ask blog. But then the trend developed to featuring OCs more and more. So you see a lot of OC blogs nowadays, and no one's really taking up the mantle of canon characters. And I guess no one will now because of what's happened with Tumblr and the fandom in general. But OC blogs are very popular now. But there were some great ones back in the day with canon characters. The one that pops to my mind right now, and I would highly recommend everybody go back and find it, read the entire story, because it is, in terms of Tumblr and the universe, it's the masterpiece of Tumblr, and that would be Ask King Sombra. Um, it was, the creator was very dedicated to it. She put a lot of time and effort into the characters, and for one, making sure it was updated on time, and it turned into one of the most well written, heartbreaking stories you'll ever see.
Yeah, and I know personally from personal experience with my podcast, keeping that regular schedule, especially for, anything media related, is very important. I make it a point as Dratta to make sure that these things are uploaded on time, make sure that they're, airing on time, and having a set schedule of when things come out really helps. And it's no different in the blogging community. And if you're not producing content on a regular schedule, people might forget that your blog exists, and and it's challenging to get that schedule figured out.
And it also, while can be a good thing to have that structure and that rigid schedule, it can also be a drawback, because I'll bring up the Ask Sombra creator again. Her name's Wiggles, by the way. Forgot to mention that earlier. But she wanted to do another story right after King Sombra ended, but she wanted to be a little more loose with the posting time and just not have that rigid schedule. Well, she got burned out on that rigid schedule, and the blog just never took off because she was just burnt out from it all. So there was that. So being rigid to that schedule can be good and can be bad.
Yeah. And as everyone knows, I've had to change my own scheduling for that kind of same reason. But I find that, there's a lot of good blogs out there for the MLP and Brony communities. It's just, getting one started, how do you get one started?
Basically, it just takes an idea. The way PD got to where she is today, it was kind of a funny story. I joined when Ask Blogs were starting to be a thing in about the summer of 2011, if you can remember that far back in the fandom. And there were very few at the time, but I created an OC, and I wanted to make an Ask blog for him, just kind of help him develop and such. And it got off, and it was a decent start. But a decent start for me was like maybe 3 people noticing it. He wasn't doing so well. And then there was a theme from a deviant art group that I'm kind of still part of. It was an alumni group based off the Equestria Daily daily art challenges, where like they give you a theme for once every 30 days and then you draw it, just kind of get you drawing again. And that's how I got back into drawing. But one of the themes that week was pirates versus ninjas, and I decided to put Rainbow Dash in a pirate outfit, and kind of a half-assed one too. So I liked the concept. I drew another pic with it. It started to get a little traction. So I thought, okay, let's make an Ask blog about this, see where this goes, and the rest is history.
Yeah. And, if you look at Pirate Dash's blog, and you look at some of the quotes and stuff on that, I think the most memorable one has to be one of the more recent ones. I kind of read that one a couple times, where Pirate Dash is like, so Bookworm, guess, I forget the quote now, but I got to go back and look at it. But it's like Pirate Dash is saying, guess what we can't show on Tumblr anymore because of...
Okay, so we've alluded to it. I might as well just come out and say it. So what happened was, and this was a couple months ago, actually, Tumblr decided, because the Apple Store was took them off their list, took the Tumblr app out, because Apple was afraid of how lewd the site was getting, and there are problems with the site that still exist to this day. So Tumblr, instead of handling the problem face on and doing what they needed to do, which was basically write the algorithm or write a code or something to ban all the porn bots, they just decided to straight up ban not safe for work throughout the entire site. And that upset a lot of creators in the fandom, because Tumblr was the best place for them to show off their works.
Right.
Especially the not safe for work stuff. And so a mass exodus just started, and some safe for work artists also went with them just to show a solidarity, because that was the final straw. Well, all the not safe for work artists are gone. It's harder to find them in some cases, and the porn bots are still around. I'm still getting follows from them. So Tumblr did nothing.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to keep that as PG as possible. So there's a good...
I know.
it's hard,
but that's okay. Basically what happened. That's the story, and it's a not safe for work reason, but that's exactly what happened. That's why Tumblr is pretty much, except for a few cases, it's pretty much dead now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other sites that you can use and stuff, and there's different ways to blog, but I finally found that post. So one of the more recent ones that Pirate Dash here did was the quote starts with, Bookworm, we might not be able to show scenes here anymore with the boat or out on the ocean. And it's a great post. I'll have a we'll make sure that you guys can see it and stuff while we do the podcast. But that the line that PD said in that is basically alluding to one of the phrases that Tumblr said that they were going to ban at the time, which was stupid. Yeah. Well, and I can understand why Tumblr did that and stuff, but we're talking a lot about Tumblr, but there's other types of ways to blog in the community as well. I don't know how much of the community exports things like Blogspot or... They don't. It's rarely used. Okay. It's sad, but Blogspot was never that good of a place to show off your stuff the way Tumblr would. Like, the way Tumblr was set up is a great format to show off your stuff, and a great way to just quickly upload something and have it spread around. Because with Tumblr, you have the like and reblog system where, like, okay, you click it, it's like you like it, but if you want to, say I made a post and other people want to show it off to others on their dashboard, they would reblog it, and then it would just start spreading around the community. And that's how you would get attention. That's how you would get people to notice you. With Blogspot, it doesn't have that. It's just, here's a post, and that's it. Tumblr helped the community by spreading the word. Okay. Yeah, and obviously, every artist prefers their own mediums and everything. And, I think a good blog out there right now on Tumblr too is the Joking Luna blog. I know that PirateDash and
That's the
I,
one exception that, according to what he's been telling us,
yeah.
for his.
So I know that I'll have Joking Luna on another stream at some point, but
I'll say this too. I know we probably don't have too much time to go over like some of the old greats and such, but because that would be a whole nother episode. But
oh yeah,
I know what I'm planning to do at conventions this year is host basically panels that reflect on some of the great blogs and some of the great characters and I guess memes from Tumblr's history, kind of like a goodbye party, because this also feels like the last good year of the convention scene. So
yeah, and with the fandom, I'd hate to say this on my stuff when I just literally did an update talking about how I was going to continue to do content and stuff, but as the community starts to dwindle, we're going to see a lot of these blogs start. I think the blog scene is, with it disappearing now with Tumblr and everything, there's going to be it's going to start affecting other scenes. But if you really do want to be a brony blogger, and you have the dedication and the passion to do it still, I think they should be doing it, because I think that we'll still need those mediums. Maybe it won't be, ass blogs anymore. Maybe it'll be more like fanfic blogs, and things like that.
I think oh, excuse me. I think the best way people are getting the word out nowadays about their stuff, while it's very limiting, is I've seen most people go to Twitter. It's very limiting in how many characters you can post, but Twitter is a place that a lot of people are going to.
And Twitter is one of the great mediums and stuff for things, getting the word out and stuff. And I think that, I don't think the brony community should give up on Tumblr necessarily. I think that people just need a new perspective on how to use it. And
I will admit that there have been some friends of mine who will continue to use the website and such. And they say like that the changes the staff made's not going to change how they approach the site and what they do. And there's still going to be some great blogs and stories out there, but what the sad part is, it's not going to be as many as there used to be. Like, I'll use this as an example. It used to take me about maybe 10, 15 minutes to go through my dashboard each day. But since the changes, like 1-2 minutes at most. The content is just not there anymore. That's not to say there isn't still a lot of great stuff there, but it's a little tougher to find.
Okay. Yeah, and, I think that we've pretty much covered a lot of the points that I think, people need to understand. But what are some challenges that are going to face people when they start the blogs these days?
Basically, how do I want to put this? Getting the attention. It used to be so much easier to get your name out there. The tagging system was great, and you'd have more people to reblog and like your post, but with the community just going less and less and less, it's going to be harder to find that person to help spread your word out there. So it seems to be at this point you've got to be doing it for the fans that are already there. But if you're starting up, that you don't have that. So it's just basically getting the word out and letting people know that you're doing your thing. Because I mean, some people say, yeah, they'll do it for the fun of it, and that's what you should be doing it for yourself and for the fun of it. But there's no deny. You cannot deny that if you're not getting attention for what you're doing, it's going to affect the effort that you put into it.
Yeah. And that's something that I've seen very recently, even with my own stuff, is I know that I do all this for the fun of it, and that's what you kind of have to do. But if you're not passionate enough about it, or you're not going to put in the effort, it's almost like, well, why get started in the first place? But that's a dissuader, and I don't want to dissuade people from wanting to start their own blogs or their own content.
Right.
You should do it if you really want to do it. You will get the attention. If you show that you're passionate about what you do, you will get the attention, and that's always encouraging. But you also have to get the word out there, and Twitter is a great source to do that as well.
Yeah, it seems to be the main source nowadays to just get the word out.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, guys, that's about how much time we have for this video. Thank you a lot, PirateDash. Any final thoughts?
I just know deep down we could probably do a whole nother episode on what the great blogs and just reflecting on some of them.
Yeah, that could be an episode in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, PirateDash. As always, guys, this is Dratta Arcana. Thank you for tuning in to Dratta Talks this evening, and we will see you guys on the next video. If you're looking to contact me, you can contact me at Dratta Arcana Gaming on Facebook, or you can contact me via dratta.arcana@gmail.com. If you're looking for any of my content, either gaming related or ponies, you can check either my Twitch channel at Dratta Arcana Gaming, or you can look at my YouTube at Dratta Arcana. As always, guys, we'll see you guys on the next stream. Once again, this is Dratta Arcana with special guest
PirateDash.
All right, and we'll see you guys in another video. Take care.